Hey everybody, Nick here with BehaviorFit, and some exciting news. I had a big deadlift PR, and I want to spend some time looking at the data to look at what I did to get that PR. So, as you can see, I have my own custom dashboard that I made for my workouts. It's a combination of Wodify data and a business intelligence tool called PowerBI. But yeah, I just want to jump right into look at some trends, pull out some interesting data points. So, why did this not resize? Fill the screen. Nope, that's the wrong button. Come on, thing. All right. Fit to the page. There we go. Okay. So what I looked at here was comparing the different training cycles I had prior to 2021, which was this 2018 data, early 2021 cycle, old cycle, and new training cycle. So the awesome thing is that we see through 2021. So here we have kind of winterish lockdown. We weren't really out in the world yet. Still training at the gym. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 to 9 weeks of training data. Early 2021. So I had 395. Before that I had 395. And there really wasn't a training cycle here. But my PR before, back in August of 23. So that's interesting to look at because right now it is August 7th. And it's important to note here is that on my data, so these are the weeks here. So if I pick out any of these workouts, we can tell. So what I did was I looked at the average weights. It's really the max, the highest kind of working set, because that's what I that was just the easiest way to grab the data. So any of the data points is like the highest working set that I had that day. So this was on 3:45 on February 2nd. So that's what you see here. So it's not the total volume, but I'll explain that here in a little bit. So so we had the old cycle, and then boom, earlier this week, I had a PR of 415, which is pretty much a year later. I improved by a whole 10 pounds. 1 year, 10 pounds. But thanks, Joe. Reply. Okay, marker's red. So we look at what was the training cycle here. So really it's almost like I had 395, and then through the new cycle we had, maybe a 20-pound jump, because I think I attempted 405 back here, but I did not. Oh my gosh, everybody, I'm in the middle of recording and everybody wants to be friends. Okay. Yeah, so new cycle there, but the interesting piece is that there we go, turning everybody off today, do not disturb. I said I have my working weights here again, deadlift 1 RM this week, but I'm kind of rambling on. But the interesting thing here is I looked at heaviest load by the number of workout days, by the training cycle. So this here it'll make a little sense. So so we had the most recent training cycle, so I numbered them 4, 3, 2, 1, so they're easier to follow. And here we have the highest weights. So we had the so how many training cycles, how many times have I lifted above 400? 1, twice. I've only done that twice. One was last year in 2020, and then this was yes, that's August 26th. You can see it on the details. And then here, this year of 21. Now, what I thought was interesting is that this most recent training cycle, given how we progressed and everything, I had 3 lifts that were well above 375, whereas before I had not been pulling that heavy before. So for me, that was that felt pretty good, because I just hadn't spent any time lifting in those higher weights, 365 a couple times. So you kind of see the shift of the weights and how many times I spent lifting at those weights. So the last cycle only a couple times, between 300 and 350, but here multiple times, and then the early cycle kind of scattered. And here you can really see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have the number in the table. But the training cycle was longer, so I had more days at higher volume. So very interesting there for me. So again, very happy with my performance. And again, the behavior here, I'm showing up, doing the work, and then I think I got some results. So this is the table that I made. Ooh, that's really small. So I just moved, it's bigger on this page here. So looking at the prior training cycle, so the interesting thing, so the average of the volume, again, this is the heaviest working set, doesn't account for all of the sets that we did. Heaviest volume was the early 21 cycle. However, the sum of the volume was nearly double than that last old cycle, so I think that was interesting. So here we only peaked at 385, but I don't think we're really programming for a big lift there. So we got the sum of the volume nearly double, and because the training cycle was that much longer, so the number of training days there, and you kind of see that through the graphs there. So that's just for deadlift. That's what I was most excited about. I could look at we could look at the back squat, see how that went. I had not even looked at these data here. So back squat, I had a PR of 277. I was very excited about that, considering the last time when we maxed out prior, it was 265. So I'll call that it's a lifetime 2-pound PR, but in my recent history, a 12-pound PR. So new training cycle. Again, many more days on the back squat. And you can see all the dates over here. Let's see how the load distribution looks. So in the new training cycle, we had look, more time spent in these middle weights between 225 and 250. And I'd done that before, but in the recent history, I just haven't done that. So good, kind of interesting there. Back squat, that was back squat. Front squat, how's front squat looking? And the reason why there's so many data points in prior to 21, because these are 2018 to 2020 data. New training cycle, more time spent in the heavier front squat, just in general there. How's the front squat volume? New training cycle, a lot more volume in the front squat. You can see that even on the average, more training days. And you can see a nice little graph. Bench, I was not happy with my bench performance. I missed my 245 attempts. I think I jumped too early in my warm-up sets. But we definitely spent a lot of time in the bench above 200. Yeah, old cycle prior. So, and then more days closer to 200 there. Volume, new training cycle. Look at all that bench volume, 25,000 pounds. Definitely felt it. Again, that's just the top working set. Jerk snatch, we did not really do much of that. So overall, let's look at the strength trends. This graph is in the way. Yeah, these didn't calculate right. Because we have this, what's called deadlift dash 1RM. So mad at Three Kings. Call things the right way. Or call things the same so I don't have to mess around with it on the data chart. Yeah, so these are just my workouts for the year. I've engaged in 216 separate data entries in Wodify. But getting back to the main point, the deadlift, very excited. Hit a PR, you see a nice increasing trend there. Spending lots of time in the volume, and that's really it. So I hope you made it this far in the video. Thanks for following me along. Again, all this is custom made. There's no app. I had to make it all myself. Well, I guess it is my own app, but yeah, if this looks interesting to you, you want to look at your own performance this way, just give me a shout and hit me in the comments. See you later.